joystick in hand, eyes on the screen. Mr. Poestyle, an arcade machine. Blips and bloops, a symphony of sound. High school's calling another round. From Atari joysticks to Intellivision's keys, he conquered consoles with such ease. ColecoVision's wonders, he knew them all. Master of pixels, standing tall. Poestyle, the arcade king. His name echoes, the quarters sing. Sega, Nintendo, all in his domain.
How's it going, everybody? It's time for another great Mr. Poestyle video. So, February of 2025, a year and some months ago, I bought my very first 3DO system. I got the Panasonic FZ1, if you will. I went through this whole thing starting around 2015 that I already had, of course, most of my childhood systems. My Atari 2600, my NES, not childhood, but PlayStation 1 when I was in the Air Force. That's when that came out. The only things, unfortunately, that I sold back in the day were my Genesis, which I didn't have a whole lot of games for, but the one that really hurts is my Super Nintendo. I sold that, both of those, when I was in the Air Force when I needed some money. Luckily, I didn't sell the NES or any of those games, but man, my Super Nintendo, I had some of the great games for it that I never did recover after that. Really kicking myself now all these years later. But I collected those systems again. I went and bought a Super Nintendo and a Genesis at some point. And then I started adding things that I never had before. I wanted everything from my childhood on up that I didn't have. So ended up getting a Fairchild, Channel F, and Intellivision, a ColecoVision, an Odyssey 2, Atari 5200, 7800. Oh gosh, could go on and on here, and I will. GameCube, Nintendo 64, because I had the PS1, I didn't have the 64 at the time. Lots of systems, 32X add-on, Sega CD, all of these things. Turbo Graphics I went and bought. So now I'm buying all this stuff and also trying to collect the games for it. I want all this stuff. It just got out of hand, very expensive. So then I slowed down, learning a lot about things that were out for game systems and stuff since, newer stuff to me. Some of these systems I thought, especially like the Turbo Graphics, instead of buying all these hue cards, all these games, I'll get into the EverDrives. I learned about those and flash cards, so I got into those. So now this all comes around to the newest old system that I bought is the 3DO. I wanted to grab it. I found one for a great price. Got it in February 2025, and I got one game for it at the time. Didn't even come in an original box. It was a little jewel case that I think was broken. Don't even know where the jewel case is. Escape from Monster Manor, and I was having problems at the time with OBS recording. I originally made a video of me playing this, but the slowdown on it and everything, the video came out terrible. Never did get that video out. But while I was doing that, 1 month later in March of 2025, I saw a mod that you could do for the system, and for pretty much all of these systems that are disc-based with the little laser drive in them, the optical disc drive in them, and that's an ODE, optical disc emulator, and these things make it so that you can disconnect your failing or broken optical disc drive, and you can connect these circuit boards, these chips, and put your games on an SD card or a USB drive or something to that nature. One of the two, maybe both. So I found one for the 3DO, and I'm like, yeah, instead of buying all of these discs and you don't know what kind of shape, now this one's decent shape, but you don't know, disc rot and things like that, it's a fact. Those things happen. So that I want to buy a whole bunch of new CD-based games, try to find a place to store these things. What kind of condition do I need them to be in? If you're a collector, you want to buy these things complete in box, and you know, it gets to be a lot, especially when you're still collecting for everything else. And that's not even to mention home brews. You're buying all these home brews for everything. Yeah, it gets really expensive. So I bought this mod for it in March, just 1 month after, maybe even less than a month after I bought the 3DO. And it came, and it sat. Now last year I only had 1 week of vacation, even though I've been with this company for 21 years, 20 years last year. I normally have, I'd earned, you know, the way our union goes and the way they agreed with the company. I've had 4 weeks for the last several years. I don't get 5 weeks until later on. 4 weeks of vacation available to me, but the year before, 2024, I was off on a medical for 7 months. So you have to work at least 6 months to get all of your vacation for the year. And I was off for 7 months. So I only earned 1 week of vacation last year. And I had to use that for when my boy came home. My son came home on leave. Use that 1 week while he was back so I could spend time and run around and do stuff with him. So things got pushed off to the side, mostly things that I don't need to do, just my gaming stuff and my channel, you know, put things off to the side and then get right back to work again. So now I'm back on vacation for a week. I have the stuff already sitting here. Why not? So let's talk about it. And I'll show you or tell you in the description where I got this ODE, this Optical Drive Emulator chip. And we'll show you how I put it in here. So let's get right to it. We'll do it and we'll show how everything goes. We'll see how it loads up games and we'll play a few of those. And then we'll do a wrap up like we do. Let's go. How do we do this? All right. Well, first we're just going to take our 3DO apart. And this is the front of it. This is the FZ1, as you can see here. And there's our power and there's our eject. Beautiful looking machine. And there are inputs S video and composite, I'm sorry. It's very late. It's almost 3 a.m. This is our mod chip from AliExpress. So very simple. We got for our USB drive goes in there. There's the back of the thing. On the front we have the 2 ports where the ribbon cables go for the power and for the drive itself. So that's our optical mod chip. We need a standard Phillips head screwdriver for this. We got 128 gig little drive that we're going to put in there. We'll load it up with some games. Here's our tape. So this is for, you know, when you put the chip in, you want to put this tape across the back of it so that you don't short it out, because it's going to go right up against that metal of the optical drive. So put this tape across the back of it. That's also high temperature, like heats up to 500 degrees Fahrenheit. It will protect you from, you're not going to get anywhere that close. Here's our tape. Amazon buy. I got the 2-inch. You can get smaller. Just cut it to fit across the back of that chip. Just so you know you're not grounding out, you're not shorting it out when you're in there. Okay, well, we got 4 screws and that's it. Phillips head screws, 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's all you have to take out to take this thing apart. No special bits, nothing. Just 4 Phillips head screws. Very simple. I have a magnetic head Phillips head screwdriver, so it'll pull those screws right out when we're done. Super fast speed for you there. I know how you love it. The magic of the YouTubes. We got it out. This top, I'm gonna have to wiggle it a bit in order to get it to loosen, but it's gonna come right off. Don't mess around too much. Open it this way so that your buttons there, your reset and your power don't come flying out. Now you're gonna want to take this shielding off, or F shielding, and they made it simple. It's not soldered in, it's not screwed in, it doesn't have a billion different tabs like some of these old systems. You really just pop the thing off and you're good to go. Thank goodness, huh? Thank goodness for small favors. Uh-oh. Yeah, the only game that I have, I left it in there when I played it a year and a half ago, or whenever that was, so whoops. Make sure your game's out before you start. Now I had to go power it up just to eject it and then take the power back off. Don't do the mod with it plugged in, no power. Turn it around, and now here are your two ribbon cables. This is as simple as it gets, guys. These pull right out. Just be careful with them. You know, they're 30-some years old, but they slide right out. Pins shiny, facing up. And there's writing on the back of that ribbon cable. You can see there. It's out, so your drive is no longer connected. That's great. And then our ODE board is right here. There's the back of it. We're going to put the tape on it again so that it's not conductive. Lighting up. Sorry, banging around. And there it is, by the magic, once again, of the YouTube. It's already on there. We have all the contacts covered, so when it fits up against that drive, we're not going to short anything out. We're not going to destroy everything we're working for here. Let's zoom on in. There's the pins facing up. This board is going to go in upside down, in the way all the printing is on it. And there, your power to the drive is going to slide right in there. There's nothing to push down, nothing to crimp. It's going to slide in. That slid in easy enough. Now, as you know, I'm a big guy. I'm 6'4". I'm nearly 300 pounds. I got big hands. So, you might be able to get this in quicker than I did. I'm just fumbling around. I'm trying not to destroy anything. The fragile pieces here. But it will. If you just slide it in the whole way, the entire way, make a connection. And that's going to be it. For me, it's going to take me longer than it is for you, probably, just because my hands are just... I'm fumbling around. That's the way it is. Alright. We got one side. Let's get the other. And let's make sure it's in there nice and snug. That's it, guys. You're not going to have to solder this board in anywhere. You're not going to have to screw it in anywhere or find a bracket to screw it onto. It's in. We got the tape across the back, which I actually saw another guy in another video doing it that way, and of course it's an excellent idea. Now there's our 128 gig. It's going to go right in there once we get it loaded up. You might want to load it up ahead of time if you're waiting for your chip to come in, and then you're going to put that shielding right back on. Just be very careful doing that. Now we're going to go to the Fixels page, and he has the boot file that we need and everything. He tells you exactly how to do everything right there on that page. They have README files, everything you need. The only thing I'm going to grab from there as I'm grabbing the boot file and the update file. Now there hasn't been any updates to this for a few years here, so you should really be up to date just grabbing the boot file, but I put the update file on there anyway just to make sure. And again, he's telling you exactly how to do everything I just did there, and how to set up. You know, you put that boot file and the update file right in the root of your drive, of your card there. And yeah, they have pictures of everything, how it should look once everything is done. I'm going to put that boot file, update file right in the root, and then I made folders for mine, so I have the US releases, European releases, and releases from Japan in all 3 different folders. And within those, right here, I'm just showing that I'm copying those when I downloaded them. That's the boot file, and that's the update file. I copied those, and I'm pasting them right here to the root of my drive. In my case, the D drive. There they are. So then, yeah, from there. Okay, so I bought this thing here a while back and still haven't used it yet. Retroscaler 2x. And this is just going to convert from my S video to HDMI. So this thing's really neat. I have other HDMI converters just for composite, things like that. But this one will do composite, component, S video, and then it'll even do a smoothing effect if you choose to do that. A line doubler on there. On-off switch on the side, and there's your HDMI out and your power. It comes with a little power cord. You just got to supply the power brick as per usual. I bought this, like I said, a little while back and had never used it, but here it is. I'm going to use it for the first time. I put my S-video cable into it. That's how you do it. And your left and right audio, that's all coming from your 3DO into there. Let's power it on to make sure everything's okay. Have all of our games in their own files within the Japanese release, your European release, and US release. I made a homebrew file there to add homebrew games in the future, because I know there are some out there, maybe not a lot, but there's some out there that I've read about. And that's the music that comes built into it. That's your menu music. Off to the one side there. And I'm just showing it on OBS here. It's coming across fine.
Alright. Let's check out a game and see what happens.
And here we go. We'll let it speak for itself. Here is the gameplay, guys. Enjoy.
Alright.
Looks like that's loading up just fine.
Was once a lovely place to live. Broad smiles beamed from every planet in the Milky Way. Law-abiding galactic citizens thrived under the happy twinkling stars, and goodwill flowed from one end of the cosmos to the other. But then things changed. A dastardly syndicate of intergalactic outlaws invaded the galaxy and now threaten everything that we law-abiding citizens hold dear. The government is at a standstill. The authorities are helpless. Is this the sad twilight of our glorious civilization? Are these the last ticks of the cosmic clock? Oh dear! Where are we to turn? What are we to do? What is to be our fate? Who will save us from this menace?
in no part of the galaxy where cosmic criminals dance and play, tear out the people every day.
Let's skip that.
Get in here, Quasar! Sit anywhere. Quasar, I have a tough assignment for you, direct from intergalactic headquarters. I'll give it to you straight. A dastardly crime syndicate is intent on conquering the galaxy. Leading this space riffraff is a butt-ugly strongman named Ox, who's determined to take over one planet at a time. Aiding Ox are two other hoods. Duba, a renegade synthetic who threatens to addict the galaxy to a heinous spice.
Sorry, gotta skip. Just want to try these out.
Quasar, headquarters to Quasar. The ren- Headquarters to Quasar. Our rocket just got away, you blockhead! We can't afford any more screws like that.
Uh-oh, no ammo. What'd I get? Oh no, dead. Alright. Pause that. Take me out. Back to the screen. Now let's see. Now I haven't checked out all these ISOs to see if they work. So they may or may not. Oops, I actually just had a freeze up there. So there you go, in case you were wondering. Got a bit of a freeze up. Again, that may have been the ISOs that I picked. I have no idea. I haven't tried them out yet. Seems to be loading up. Skip.
It all started so simply. I had just finished my
Skip.
Let's get it on. I love that dark color in his cheeks.
A working TV. Reading comprehension.
Let's get back to the mystery man. trick or treat.
No, I've never played this. At least not this version.
Sorry, I only play it with.
So I don't really know what I'm doing, obviously. What is the run button? Nice.
Oh, yeah. It's fail time.
All right. Let's try one more. Make sure everything's working here. See, I did something again there and froze it. I think I hit the wrong button. But again, that could be the files that I put on there. I don't know. I'm gonna have to go back through and look at everything. Skip. Would help to know what the buttons do. With no. totally missing. Oh no! Uh-oh. Busted, sweetie. Alright, that's gonna be it for now. That's pretty sweet though. Resident Evil. Oh, wrong game. And back to the beginning. All right. All right, everybody. So there you have it. I hope you liked that mod. Very simple to do. Very short amount of time. I wouldn't even say 15 minutes physically to do the thing. You want to get that tape for that and put it on the back just to make sure you're not shorting up. Plus, you know, high heat resistance tape. You put that thing in there and then make sure you get those ribbon cables just right whenever you're putting them in there. One for the power, the other for the CD drive. The way I showed is the way you do it, because that chip, that board, your mod board is going to be upside down. So those cables are going to fit in there perfect. Now, be very careful when you're putting that shielding back on. I didn't get to show it here, but I did have a problem with that. I put that shielding back on, and when I went to power the thing up, I had a few problems there. It wasn't showing the picture. It was staggering or stuttering a bit, and it would even mess up the sound a little bit depending on how it was. So tuck those cables in. Be very careful how you put that in there, but once you get it in there and you get it right, then you're good to go. Be very careful though. Definitely test it before you put it all back together. It's just a pain in the butt otherwise to put it all back together and then find out it's not working. It's only 4 screws, I know, but you can take them in and out and in and out. So I tested it the next time without it on there, made sure it was working. Then I put that top on and flipped it upside down, tightened it up and checked it again just to make sure it works. So very easy mod to do, very fast. The longest part is going to be loading up your little thumb drive or however you put it on there. I would actually suggest if you're going to order this mod from AliExpress or wherever you can find it, go ahead, get yourself one of those drives and format it, get it all set up and ready to go, and then put all your games on there, because it's going to take you longer to download these games than it is to even put this whole thing together. So if you're in a hurry, hey, why not? If you already have that drive while you're sitting and waiting, do that. And you're going to put that boot file right there in the root of the card. I also put the update file right there in the root of the card.
And then the games are in all separate folders. I did US releases, I did European releases, and I did Japan releases, all in different folders there. I also made a homebrew folder because I know there's some homebrews out there, so eventually we'll get those thrown on there. But really, get things put on there, and maybe get your complete list of the games that you want on there, and for right off the bat, because it depends on how often you're going to want to unscrew this thing and put more stuff on that drive. Now I'm sure there's probably, you could do an external drive for the thing with an extension cable coming out of it somewhere so that you wouldn't have to open it every time. I didn't do that. I loaded it with a bunch of cool games. If there's something that I want, that I see that it doesn't have on there, I'll open it back up and put it back on there. Like I said, like some of those homebrews. Another thing to mention here is Vivid, the adult industry, did make a lot of adult type games, soft core, if you will. I didn't put any of those on this right now. In fact, the games that I did put on here, I was able to find in one group. Do a Google search and you'll find the same exact ISO list that I have on there, and they all seem to be working just fine, the games that I put on there. You can put other stuff in, like I said, there are soft core games if that's really your thing. I didn't do it, but you can put everything on there you want. And there are other sites out there. Do a search. There's more games out there, individual games you can download. I just did it this way because I could download them all at once, then unzip them, put the folders in there for each of them. It seems to work very well. And for multi-disc games, you can queue these games. You can have a queue of up to 5, I believe, discs in a row, so that you can just hit that reset button once and it'll go to the next disc, which works perfect for multi-disc games. Put them all in that queue. You're playing Wing Commander or whatever, go to disc 2, hit the button, you'll go right into it. You're going to have a lot faster loading times. It's not going to speed up the games themselves, but obviously the loading times are going to be a lot quicker than it would if you had just the disc with the original drive. Now, if you have a broken laser, broken drive, this is perfect for you. If you have one that's starting to fail, do this. Mine was fine as of when I bought it and everything, but why not do it this way, like I said, instead of collecting a bunch of discs. I even passed up a bunch of 3DO discs at Pittsburgh Gaming Expo last year because I knew I had this mod sitting and waiting. I was this close because everybody tells you to buy Road Rash for the thing. It's the best on there. I remember playing it on Genesis and stuff back in the day and loving it, so even better on the 3DO. Originally I was totally turned off by the 3DO, just reading about it in magazines, and of course the $700 price tag here in the US at the time. And the biggest thing that turned me off was the full motion video for these things. I had, like I said, Super Nintendo and Genesis back in the day. I went to my local game store, one of them, that I rented a bunch of stuff from. And this was the first time I ever did this. They had Sega CDs there for rent. So I rented one for a weekend, and I had like Sewer Shark and maybe another 1 or 2 games that were mostly full motion video. And my gosh, well, Sega CD shrunk everything down even further. The acting was so cheesy, the load times, the full motion video wasn't for me. So I just assumed all of these CD-based systems coming out at that time were going to just be garbage. But there are some great games out there, even on Sega CD I didn't know about at the time. Back then, I wasn't willing to give it another chance. But then we got into PlayStation 1, and I saw how great those games were when I was in the Air Force. My buddies had it, and they were playing it, so I thought, maybe rethink this. Not everything is this full motion video crap, right? So to give the 3DO a chance, I know there are a lot of people out there that love it anyway, but there are some fun games out there, and I haven't even begun to scratch the surface here. I need to start looking at a lot of these games and give them all a try, especially on a system, like I said, like this. You don't have the load times like you did back in the day. It's a lot quicker loading it up for you. Really happy with this. And again, I've always been a guy, since I learned about them, that loved flash cards. I got the Unicard Plus for the 2600 Plus recently. Makes life so much nicer, so much easier. I have a whole ton of them. You know, this is cream of the crop, the EverDrive N8 Pro for the NES. And you can put Famicom disc games on here, and you can change the discs with this thing, with this little push button at the top. So wonderful. Things have come a long way. And of course, if you have that name Crits on there for the EverDrive, you know it's good. You know it's great. Another one, you know, this is the one that I have for my Genesis. Love these things. The most recent one that I got is the FX Pack Pro. And I got this from Stone Age Gamer, but it's a Crits EverDrive. And this will play like every SNES game you throw at it. Any special chips that those games had, because some of the lower priced ones, they won't play all of those different chips that the SNES games had. This one will do it for you. And again, the Crits name on there. And it's going to be pricier, but it's going to be worth it when you can put your whole system library games on here. Again, the wear and tear of your games and stuff, to be able to have them all in one place. And of course, this one here, the HuCard EverDrive for my Turbo Graphics, just loaded it up with games, and I had them that way. You didn't have to go out there and just hope that these old games that you're buying are gonna work. You have them right on there. So it's the same thing with these ODEs, Optical Drive Emulators, but they're built in, right? But you can still put your whole bunch of games on there. The menu had sound, it had music, as you heard there in the video, and then you go in and you pick your game and you go. If there's something else that you never added to it, and there are homebrew games out there again, throw them on there, and you have everything built in. I just love playing things from these original consoles, and being able to do that, especially with like HDMI. You know, the AVS that I got for the NES games, that system is beautiful. And I don't really stream a whole lot unless it's from my PS5. Once I get a better laptop, I plan on doing that. And this way, you know, I have a converter. I have the S-Video on the original 3DO. I can put it through this converter and get a pretty sweet picture with my capture card. It looked decent, really good there. So I'll have whole libraries of games on EverDrives and on these ODEs. I plan on doing this ODE thing for, you know, my Dreamcast and probably my Saturn and maybe my PlayStation 1. And if I ever do something live like that, a live stream, and have the time to do that and have the means and a good laptop for that, I can just be on there and have people shout out, hey, play this game. Maybe you should play this game. And I can do it right there live for you because I have the whole library right there on an ODE or on an EverDrive. And I'm playing my favorite way on a real console with the real controller. I know you can do it all from just a laptop and emulation these days, but I still prefer to do it this way. Let me know what you think about this ODE in the comments down below. Have you done anything like this? Are you planning on doing it? If it can save your 3DO, if you have one that's special to you, this one is probably the best way to go because you're not going to ruin, you're not messing anything up. Your drive is still in there. This mod makes it possible so that you don't have to remove. There's other mods that you have to solder in or you have to remove. Your laser drive, your disk drive. This one you don't. You're just disconnecting two ribbon cables. Plug them into this thing and you're ready to go. Your drive is still in there, which means also that drive door is still in there. You didn't have to take that whole mechanism out. And in my case, the optical drive still works in my 3DO. So if I want to reverse it, you pop 2 ribbon cables out and you pop them back in. Those ribbon cables just, you seat them in there. There's nothing to push down, nothing to hold them in place. You just do it. I thought it was pretty sweet. Very happy with it. Didn't have to go out and buy a whole ton of games that you hope work when you get them home or get them off of eBay and things like that. I think it works great. Do you have a love for the 3DO? Are you going to try this? Give it a try if you have one. It's not expensive right now. When I bought it, I think it was around $45 US. Now it's up to $49, I believe it is, $50 US, which still is not bad at all. I sent the link to Mike at Mike's Gaming Gala, and he checked it out. I believe it's 60 something Canadian is what it came up as for him on there. So still not bad at all for putting a whole library of games on the thing and saving the system from being scrap, because it's going to be harder to find these drives to replace later on. Grab one of these, especially this one, because you're not going to have to solder. You're not going to have to screw it in somewhere. You're going to slide those in there, insulate it with the tape, and you're good to go. All right, guys, I've talked a lot here, and I've showed you a lot. Probably most people didn't stick around to the very end unless they were really, really interested in this thing. And if you did, I really appreciate it. It's been a while, like 2 weeks since I've gotten a video out. It's got to be that way for a bit, as long as my son is back home on leave, because I need to spend all the time I can with him and juggle that with work life. I want to thank you for joining me for another great Mr. Poestyle video, and I hope to see you on the next one. I really do, guys, and I hope to get more stuff out here to you shortly. Thank you, guys. I appreciate y'all.
Joystick in hand, eyes on the screen, Mr. Poestyle, an arcade machine. Blips and bloops, a symphony of sound. High scores calling another round. From Atari joysticks and television's keys, he conquered consoles with such ease. ColecoVision's wonders, he knew them all. Master of pixels, standing tall. Poestyle,
Oh, Nacho. Come here, Nacho. No biting. No biting. No biting. No, Nacho, stop.